I just want to add. So,
Yeah.
just about like the resources on campus. So, beside the H program, which is just for the BME PhD students, we also have a couple more organizations, student-run organizations that focus on the more like industrial focus or more like in the government track. So, like personally, I'm involved part of the Hopkins Biotech Network and the Biomedical Scholar Association. So what they do is they invite a lot of alumni who from BME or from other part of engineering and who just graduated from the School of Medicine and School of Engineering here. They hold weekly sections. They come talk to us, share us about like stories of their careers, what they do on a day-to-day basis, and also a great chance for networking. And so it's gonna help you a lot when when you come to your decision of whether you want to pursue academia or industry. So besides that, we also have some like a strong startup culture. So here we have like competitions for startup, and then also like the biggest student-run consultant club that so if you're into consulting, you know that you have a lot of resources. There's also a strong culture of, because we are so physically close to the FDA and the NIH. There's like opportunities to do internship and to talk to people. If you want to do like, something more regulatory related or government related. And so also the career center is pretty very excellent. I mean, there's a bunch of opportunities. There's a lot of panels. I've been to a lot of them, and they invite not just U.S. citizens alumni, but also alums who were international students or who were international students and now have become U.S. citizens.
Yep. Next question. Yeah, the next question. So, do grad students have a life, basically? So, anyone? I know Hugh can talk about his breakdancing life.
It's totally like life outside of life is totally up to you. It's like how you manage your time. So there's always like responsibility. Of course, your research, the lab work is like priority, and then the classes, right? And then it just depends on how you structure and manage your time, and what you do after that is totally up to you. And so, like some just they choose video game. I do video games. A lot of people work out. In terms of like extracurricular activities, there's a bunch of things you can do. I mean, like for people in my class, we involved in a lot of things like badminton. Go to the gym. I do dancing, hungs, this ballroom dance too. And we have like a pretty strong break dance club here in Baltimore too. So it's like a lot of opportunity outside of lab. If you're into music, there's like we have a group of students who like really into singing, and they go to like karaoke and things like that. And then also like over the weekend, a lot of us I mean, for me, I know from my first year, like hang out a lot. We go to bar together, we go to concerts together. So it's definitely a lot of things. And Baltimore, Harvard is like, damn, like it's like a bunch of things to do, and a lot of festival, and if you even after that you still get bored, you can always choose go to DC or New York City. It's like just like the DC is 1 hour away, in New York is like 3-4 hours away, so it's like you can get away with it. So there's like never like there's nothing to do. It just all depends on do you have time, and it's out, and you gotta be good at structuring your time.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah, you need to learn how to time manage. Jana, you want to say something?
Yes, can I add something?
Yeah.
So, from my own experience, I think like, especially for students in our department in their early careers of the whole PhD study, you should really appreciate the fact that you can still work during the weekend. Like for me, I have a 3-year-old kid, I have a wife, and we are expecting another baby in 2 months. Really, I mean, I mean, I really miss the time that I can work like during the weekends a lot. So you're gonna miss this, and if you still can just work a lot during the weekend, you'll miss this in the future.
I want to add two things. First is that we have the BME PQ Student Council, which is a government organization in the program, and then so we give them so they have president, they have also different roles, to be leadership, and then we give them $11,000 for the whole year.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And yes, that's a lot of money, and so pretty much every month we will have a social event. And the biggest one is an annual retreat. Annual retreat, we take a student, usually like over 100 students, and faculty, we go out to resort, to beach, and to do some camp, we spend overnight at the hotel, and then we have a lot of social activities, and also Halloween, Christmas, and that's not even included in the $11,000, the budget. 11,000 they spend like some sports, hiking trip, and the ski trip, and water rafting, and then so we do have a lot of fun. Also, we did a variety show. If you go to if you could get on the YouTube, Google BME JTU variety show, you may see some videos there. a lot of students. I would say all of our students are talented. They're not a bunch of nerds. They are musicians. They have a lot of skills and play drum, dance, singing, and another thing that as an international student at Hopkins, we have all kinds of nationality association. CSSA is a Chinese student and Korean, and there are many of them, Indian, we do celebrate like a Lunar New Year and then Solar New Year, all kinds of. We always have good reason to do something. To spend money. Okay.
I
I think they asked for safety.
Yeah, I think one of the culture that's in Johns Hopkins that may be a little different from a state school, because I personally experienced both like state schools and liberal arts college. Like Johns Hopkins is a little liberal arts school. Like they really care about culture. Like they really they send out emails every so often, like be aware that people are observing their holidays. Like be aware that this kind of holidays is going on. So like they really do observe that. And I mean, when I was in state schools, that never happened. Nobody cared.
And Trey asked about safety.
Yeah. Okay. So safety. Who wants to start about safety?
So first, I just want to point out that Baltimore is a city, and it's just like any other city in the States, right? Every city has its goods, its bads, it's like pretty neighborhoods and not so great neighborhoods. But like you could not get into any trouble if you just use your common sense. And I cannot stress on that enough. In what common sense is with dreams, you don't walk around late at night yourself alone, or do you know which areas to avoid and things like that. And I mean, other than that, I mean, I don't think. I mean, personally, I don't have any problem with like any of the crime here. I mean, I feel very safe in general. And on campus, you always have security guards, and even like they can escort you to like a couple blocks away from the medical campus too. So
both Homewood campus and the school's medicine campus offers you rides. There's basically a number that you can call, and they will come pick you up if you don't feel safe walking to somewhere within like certain blocks of range. So.
And is the campus isolated for the bad areas, I guess?
We call it Hopkins bubble, but
Yeah, we call it Hopkins bubble.
but it's like virtually non-existent because I don't feel like dangerous or not safe in Baltimore at all. Just like just use common sense and you'll be fine.
In a sense, yes. The Hopkins campus is a little bit isolated from other bad areas, so like that's why we kind of live in a bubble and we.
Yeah, actually, but So the campus area is safe, but once you like cross one block, it can be totally different. So it's kind of hassling, but it's not just like this. It's not very like totally isolated from the rest of the city. And my also living in a mountain or near a woods, so that's a place very safe. So we just leave the door open all the time. Just nothing happens. So actually, it depends the area.
Did Jana want to say something? He opened up his mic, so I'm not sure. Thanks.
Maybe not too much on that part. I mean, I mean, I heard some cases like people were mugged or something like, but as long as you are not drunk during the weekend and wandering around in the street like 2 a.m. in the morning, I think you are most probably you'll be fine, I guess.
Okay. I think someone. Oh, so what benefits do dependents on PhD students get?
You come not many our students have children, but some do. You buy insurance, I guess.
Yeah.
Jackie, you have children? You have the second on the
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Well, I feel like I'm all like taking advantages of from my wife's benefits. So I'm not entirely sure about Hopkins benefits, but I'm pretty sure like there are. I think as a PhD student, you gotta get those like WIC, like something where you can like get these tickets and like grab stuff from supermarkets for free. I never got this, but I think some of my friends does. So yeah, yeah. Do you know something about it? Like I remember like Cyrus and Elaine used to get some benefit. Do you remember that?
I don't know. I think this is too personal.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure there are, and the benefit was pretty good. But for me, it's just I'm taking advantage of my
You can go to the best hospital. It's right there.
That's true. We have like the best hospital, and our insurance covers the hospital a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Our insurance covers the hospital, so like you don't need to go to like a bad hospital.
Yeah, the Hopkins insurance is definitely good. I mean, for my wife during her pregnancy and labor, I don't think we pay for anything. Like I think it's at least 95% covered by the insurance. So the insurance is definitely good.
Yeah, I can add something here. It's not about your wife and kids, just for yourself. Our insurance is really good. Even comparing with some of the other school in Johns Hopkins, like even public health. So because we even cover our dental insurance, which some of the school doesn't do at all. And so if you wanna have your tooth cleaning or you have to do some teeth surgery, which is gonna be really expensive if you don't have the dental insurance. So actually our department cover all like 95% of them, I'm pretty sure, because last time I did a teeth surgery and I think the bill was about over 1,000, pretty sure, and eventually I only paid less than $100. So our insurance is covered very well.
I guess what about social activities the School of Medicine is associated with, especially concerning children and elderly people?
I know they do have some activity like especially in the national office. They offer every year like Eastern egg hunt.
Oh, I
You
didn't know that.
Yeah,
We haven't experienced Easter yet.
so they do that, and then also at school, at the hospital, every year they have like a art, drawing competition. And then something like that, and then we do have children's center at the school medicine and also at Homewood. you know, for seniors, I'm not aware a lot about that, but children.
Yeah. And they can go to Peabody, the children.
Oh, yeah, children,
really?
yeah, and they also have discount.
We're learning so much about
Yeah.
child raising.
We can help you get ready. Yeah, we have Peabody, pretty good music school, and then they have preparatory and conservatory. Preparatory for children, you know, so. And then, so next one is translational research.
Yeah, I can kind of answer that. So, at least my personal research, I'm working on computational biology, and right now it's very translational because we collaborate with some of the doctors. And well, actually, we have to meet with the doctors once a week to talk about the project and stuff. So, like, literally, what we do potentially could be just be on the doctor's schedule of treating the patient like the next couple months or maybe the next year. So like it's definitely very translational, and we have a very good tie with the School of Medicine because I don't know if you know this, but the BME department, if you're an undergraduate, you're under the School of Engineering, but if you're a PhD student, you're under the School of Medicine. So you're a School of Medicine student and you're meeting with doctors is just easy, you know. So that's my personal experience. I don't know about you guys' research. I don't know Hong Li actually. Oh, you.
Yeah, Evelyn.
Sorry. Oh yeah, but she goes to School of Medicine a lot to do like MRIs and stuff, right? Yeah. So
She works with the radiologists and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I know the Dr. Junhua. I think there is a student now. Okay. He's a nice person. I need to like take care of my little sibling. Sorry.
Yes.
She forgot something, and I think.
Something to say.
Yeah.
So when I was master, I worked with physicians in cardiology, and we just implement a software for the cardiac imaging. The patients with arrhythmia, and that can be directly used for some patients. I think so. Probably I graduate, I don't know. But that's the target. And that's for the clinic part. And for now, I'm working on image processing kind of thing. So we come up with the algorithms and software. The software is mostly open source and just released to the world, and others can use them for their own purpose. And sometimes the algorithm can be like the software can be sold or something. The technology can be transferred to companies, kind of thing. And that's also an option.
So like it like Hawkins has a full range of research from basic science to translational to clinical, and it depends a lot on first of all your own research project, and then also depend on the lab, your PI. There's a lot of factors. I mean, for me, example, I work right under a physician scientist, and so my work is very clinical. I look at patients' data, I analyze and CT scans, you know, and then at some of the labs, you know, you may be working with more like a basic science stuff with like trying to find mechanisms, and so it all depends on, as I said, you know, your own research project and then the people you're working with. But if you want to say prefer like a more translational clinical project, then there's like tons of opportunities here that for you to do that, because people here are so collaborative. I cannot stress enough, like almost everyone collaborating with someone in like very inter-school. So like from the School of Engineering to physicians, even some public health experts. And so you just need to, if in case that you know you don't find yourself working with like a more clinical related project, you can always reach out and talk to people, and you know, because like people here are so willing to form collaboration, so that shouldn't be an issue. It's like I think flexibility happens, you know, in terms of so many things, and research projects are one of it. Is it very flexible?
And I know one of you asked online that will there be any BME academic conferences held in or near Johns Hopkins? Can graduate students attend? I think yes. Like there are conferences and you definitely can attend.
Yeah, and our students all often go to conference.
Yeah. And some PI like You don't have to publish something to go to a conference.
Yeah, people
It
have
just
to-
depends on the PI, but like, yeah, it happens.
Yeah, in our lab, usually we go to conference, at least one conference per person per year. So yeah, you got a lot of opportunity to go. And for conferences, that's true, you don't have to get publication because conferences, all they ask is, first they will ask you to submit an abstract, which doesn't actually require so much data for a publication. Then you can go there for poster or you can give a speech. And so it depends on like how much data you achieved and whether you want to give a presentation or give a poster. So yeah, we got tons of opportunities to go to international conference or just domestic conferences.
Okay. I think that's most of the questions I have on here. So I don't know if there's any more additional. So I guess here's one of the last opportunity for you to ask a question. Like if you do have a question, please ask and we'll answer it. Otherwise, we'll be like wrapping up soon. Oh yeah, I have one last thing I can show you. That is like life at Baltimore. So please ask your final questions. Don't feel shy. If you
Actually,
don't do it, it's the last opportunity.
Actually, can I add something like
Yeah.
on my side? So actually, all the prospective students, look at your screen and that lady wearing white in the middle, her name is called Hong. Like if you
She's a
eventually,
boss.
yeah, she's a boss. Like if you eventually decide to join the program, you will find her as the biggest fortune of the department. Seriously, for those. Well, I mean, really, I mean, to do a PhD, like to work in a lab and have all these communications with your collaborators and your PIs, it could be tough. Like even two friends sometimes could have a disagreement and stuff. Like yeah, and but whenever this happens to you and your PI, Hong will always will always be standing on the student's point. Like even if you can't expect those imagine those problems are happening now. Like sometimes in your PhD career, you will find yourself sitting in such a situation, and Hong will always be there to help you. Like that is seldomly found for most programs. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a true story. Like, I know like in some of the programs that you considering there's always like a BME coordinator, a manager, administrator who like reaching out to you and manage the whole events. But like Hong is so like above them all. You would never find in any other program someone who always gonna get your back. Like I had a lot some problem with my PI and I switched lab and Hong was so incredibly supportive, finding me a new lab and reaching out to people, and I cannot be thankful enough. She's like our mom, but like a cool mom. Like she gonna reach shots with you, she goes to balls with you, and she like helps you like with you organizing parties, and so you cannot go wrong here.
She's a cool mom.
I love you, Jackie.
Love you too.
I will babysit your children.
Oh, please bring your child. Visit us.
Maybe we'll show the video.
Okay, yeah. If there's no more final urgent questions, then I'll show you one last presentation of life at Baltimore. Okay. Share my screen. So this is a presentation we prepared from the recruitment team. Actually, fun fact, all the first years, if you want to, you can help pre-plan all the recruitment plans, and will help Hong throughout the process. So that's why we're doing this. And and we also prepared this Life at Baltimore kind of slideshow for you. And Baltimore is called a charming city, and we have a pet. we went to the retreat. This is a picture of the retreat, and we were at the beach. So we did this I Love BME riding on the beach. So there's many areas that you can live in Baltimore. So this first picture with the colorful, like on the top left corner with all the colorful houses, I think is Charles Village. Yeah, and then the second one with the monument is the Federal Hills and is it? No, Mount
Vernon.
Vernon. That's Mount Vernon, and then that.
Federal Hill, Mount Vernon, and that's Fells Point,
Yeah. Okay.
and that's Hampton, and I don't know what the last picture.
The last picture is probably just the whole Baltimore.
Yeah.
Hampton and Charles Village.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Charles Village is where Homewood campus is closer to,
Right.
and then Mount Vernon is a little bit in between, like the School of Medicine and Homewood campus. I think Hugh lives in Mount
Yeah,
Vernon.
it's the best place, you know, it's like there's always a lot of things to do, you know, a lot of festival, malls, restaurant, a little bit high class, but like, it's beautiful there. And then it's like right in the middle of, you know, like the main undergrad campus and the medical campus. And so it offers you a lot of like great, you know, to travel, you know, if you go to classes to Homewood or if you go to your lab at the medical campus. In general, it's a great place to live.
The shuttle goes there too, so it's super convenient if you want to go either way. And you can even walk to Inner Harbor from Mount Vernon. That's safe.
Yeah. And also Feather Hill, do you know anything about Feather Hill?
Federal Hill is quiet. It's most like row houses or houses. It's quiet, but you pretty much have to drive. But it's a decent region if you want to live more comfortably, and it's not expensive at all. It's pretty cheap, and Fells Point is a bit more expensive, but it's also awesome if you like to go out, I guess.
Yeah.
Because most of the bars will be there, and most of the hangout places, there are a lot of them there. And Inner Harbor, there's not a picture of Inner Harbor, but Inner Harbor is also a great place to live because it's the center of town. And
But that would be a little bit more expensive, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. Hampton is close to Homewood, and it's also row houses, I think.
yeah.
It's about the same price range as Federal Hill.
So you always have the choice of living in a row house, or if you want to do an apartment. Like, I know here we mostly show row houses, so like if you're doing row house, you're probably gonna share with like 2 to 3 people. It depends on the house that you rent. If you live in an apartment, you could live by yourself, you could share with roommates, that's just up to you. Apartments are obviously a little bit more expensive, row houses are a little bit cheaper. So all of those are just up to you, and if you want tips, advice, you can always contact us and we can help you out. And then here's a map of all the places that we just talked about. So one of the places we talked about was Hampton, that's a little bit up there. Homewood is where the campus is at, and then Charles Village is literally right next to Homewood. And then School of Medicine campus is a little bit lower down south near, well, it's not completely near Inner Harbor, but it's still close. And then Mount Vernon is in the middle, as we said. And then Fells Point is literally at the harbor where the bars and other stuff are at. And then Fells Point is also near the harbor. And then there's also, what's Patter?
Patterson Park area.
Yeah.
So it's like a very big park, a public park. There's a lot of like if you're like really kind of like an outdoor kind of person, that's like perfect place for you.
Or you can also live outside the city, like you can live in some counties like Thompson or some other place.
Hashtags and just a lot of options. Just to add to that, the black line that you see on the map is the shuttle route. It goes from Homewood to Mount Vernon and to Penn Station that's in the middle, and then to Met Campus.
Yeah, and Penn Station is where you can take the train and you can go to New York, you can go to Philadelphia, because we are in the Northeast region, so everything is very tight packed and you can always take the train. And then here is a little bit of information of rent. This is a rent for 2 bedrooms, so if you share with the person, that's the total rent of 2 people, and then you split that down the middle by yourself, so that if you live in Charles Village, if you rent a 2 bedroom, it's $1,500, so per person, you're probably gonna pay $750, and then Hampton's same thing. So like, here's some pros and cons. If you have questions,